Hello again, Ian Stokey with Mastermind Games here, and this time going back to Warhammer 40,000 with the Venerable Dreadnought. Starting with Army Painter Ultramarine Blue. Well, actually, no, not just yet on that. Get my head on straight. I'm actually going to need 09088 Stormy Gray and do some of the underlying structure first. So, when a Space Marine is too horribly wounded to keep fighting, this usually means quadriplegic and multiple organ failures, they end up getting interred into a cyborg body called a Dreadnought. So I'm just going to do a little backfill around the helmet here. That is pretty much all that's left of the pilot within, or at least all that's exposed. Might have that a little thick there. Just need a minute to figure out what underlying superstructure is going to be what color. This, I'm also doing some experimenting in this to keep trying to improve these, at least until I get my better camera it's coming. I know what I need, I just don't have the money just yet, but I likely will soon. Now in this case, there's, like many 40k kits, plenty of options. I chose to give this the most basic equipment outload possible. So, okay, that's not going to work too good. Alright, so I'll have to repaint that. Probably part of that. Anyway, I went for the most basic, which is just the combat weapon, assault cannon, and, well, what am I thinking of? Storm bolter. The only real difference, though, between a Venerable Dreadnought and a standard one, though, is that the Venerable's got an additional rule. It makes it a little tougher to kill. It can ignore some wounds based on a dice roll, above and beyond what its armor can soak up. Right now, I'm just focusing on getting a, let's see here. I'm focusing on getting what I consider some of the more basic details here, rather the underlying structure of it all. Now, and here's the assault cannon. It's not the strongest weapon Dreadnought could take. It's it's the least expensive, if I remember right. It's not too bad for knocking out light vehicles, or heavy if you decide you want to focus on one target, but there are better options for heavy. Plenty of little details and honors that it's got for itself, mostly on the plates on the front. And Dreadnoughts are usually kept in suspended animation until they're needed, with the Marines inside being allowed to sleep away the sentries, as it says in the Codex. There's actually a great line in the Space Marines Codex. Can't remember all of it, but the bulk of it is, "Lead me to war, young one. I wish to soothe my melancholy in the blood of dead traitors." And here's the storm bolter slung under its Dreadnought combat weapon. Let's see. And smoke launchers up top. It can use these once a game to give itself some instant cover. What else? Let's do some more of the pistons in here on this arm. There's more than one fist that you can give this thing. I'll go ahead and do these hips, these hip joints. It's big, clunky. And from what I understand, it runs on fossil fuels. The smokestacks back there being its exhaust pipes. It's actually promethium, some fictitious substance refined in Warhammer to use as a fuel source. Okay. You know, maybe I will go ahead and, because I can always paint over this if I change my mind later on in the process. And I am doing an Ultramarines color scheme. There's just something about the boys in blue I like, so go on with it. Now, then I think I can go ahead and get the, so, if I can find the right, there it is, Leather White 09062. Getting the helmet in there. And there's plenty of options for this part too, including just a plain closed coffin looking lid. And I'll get started on the base with Cloudy Gray 09089. The rockcrete rubble of a unknown world being trod beneath the feet of the mighty Venerable Dreadnought. I've only actually gotten to use this guy once, and did not go well for him. Got blown off the table by a Tau hammerhead before I could even take more than a single shot. That's what Tau do, they blow things up. And to be fair, it was also a demo game against a friend. So, and this is a scenic base that came with the model, so I'm probably not going to do any kind of flocking when I'm done. I don't really care that I'm getting the feet of the Dreadnought. I'll paint over that in blue once I get to that, once this dries. Plenty of bullet holes and spent shell casings and a couple of skulls here. This workshop really has a thing for skulls. Making sure I get it all the way I want it. Right. Now, let's see here. Gonna have to wait a minute at this point. Let some of this dry before moving on. Okay, now Army Painter Ultramarine Blue. Oh boy, this is gonna go funky. Get a few more touch-ups off camera. Changed my mind about a few areas. Here I just have to be careful not to nick the gray. This is nowhere near as fragile as the last model I painted. I had to think a minute on how I was going to do the armor here. This army painter stuff again has different consistency to the Reaper Master series I use, so I'm still kind of getting the hang of that. Okay, got a different idea about the interior there, where the, we'll call them honors are, little scrolls. Careful around here because I want to get the armor underneath, not the smoke launcher up top. That is too thick right there. Like I said, this brand has different consistency than what I'm used to. Excuse me. Okay, now for this close combat weapon, there were several options for the appendage, the hand, including one that looked like an actual hand, but again, plenty of choices for this. And over here, let's see, so, alright, I think I've got it. Just gotta figure out what color is gonna be what by the time I finish. Okay. It's pretty good, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and pick out this armor plate on the front. And the blue as well. So last minute decision. Just get a little more blue on here. Oh, and I want to get the plate down here over the pelvic joint. And it will be the correct term in this case because it's not really a crotch. And I think this box back here as well. It's a little more touch-up work along here, and that's looking pretty good. Okay. I'll do the blue around this sensor box here. Okay. Go ahead and let that dry before moving on to the last few details here. No. Okay, well, that was me knocking my camera down at the end of the last segment, but everything's fine. 09050 antique gold. Okay. You know, one of the problems with this camera I have, and I now know a better model that should do better. I just need to wait until the money comes in for me to afford it. But the one I've got now, it won't actually screw onto a tripod, so I have to clip it to another object, which isn't quite as stable. So, get some gold in there, some reliquaries. I'll be able to do all of the details, but I can do quite a few of them at this point. I might need to do this a little thinner here than I normally would because I want to make certain that these names on these plates are visible. These are a sculpted detail that are just part of the kit right off. Mind you, I don't know what any of these mean. They might be planets in the Imperium of Mankind, but I'm not certain. Now here, also in gold, but I'll be picking out the banners in a different color later. Just being careful right now to stay in the lines. There we go. Then, let's see here. This part of the symbol on this main chest plate here. Got a little too much water in this. I might want to do a second coat. The grating around his head. That was going to be something. So you can see right there on the far end here, it's kind of bubbled in. I'll have to do something about that. It's got it. Like I said, there's a whole buffet of details in this particular kit you can pick from. So multiple heads, multiple front plates. It doesn't really matter which one you use. It's all personal preference. Same treatment for these plates on the armor here, getting the gold. Maybe the problem with down below was I didn't have it thinned quite right. These are either planets he's fought on, battle he's fought at, or brothers he's lost along the way. Do a little more on the grill right here. This is a trickier part. Okay. Let's see now over here. Let's see. That skull, I think, on his fist. These two pennants here holding up that banner. And then, let's see on the back here. This chain, I think. Skull below it. I think this here. Now, I know some of these are worlds in the Imperium. I know Rin and Genna are. So the rest has to be as well. And then, let's see. I think that's it for the gold. So now 09002 deep red will start on some purity seals. Doesn't have quite as many as you would think for such an esteemed individual. And the Adeptus Astartes do hold their dreadnoughts in high esteem. Well, now I think I'm going to have to let this dry for a bit before moving on. But, let's see, I'm getting there. Okay, next step. Zero 9143 yellowed bone. This is going on parchment. Notice I'm using just light, quick strokes. Now, the leg as well. I'll leave that as is, I think. Bit too much water on that. Okay, and then there are also a couple of skulls on the base here. I thought there was a second one, but maybe there isn't. Okay, I guess just the one skull then, alright. It's 09197 Old Bronze is next. Starting on the base, I think there's a few spent shell casings. More than a few. I thought there were more than that. Oh well, moving on. Getting the reinforcement on the assault cannon. And I at least want this part of the mechanism, the bronze. As well as this grill here. And the ammo box. Or at least the instructions said this part was the ammo box. You would assume anyway that the company that made the model would know what they're talking about. Just going around slowly, making sure I get every detail I want to get. The exhaust pipes are one of those details I want to make certain I get in this color. And this grill here over by the power weapon, or well, Dreadnought combat weapon, to use what the book says it is. Okay, now, see anything else? just be patient when painting and try to avoid moving on to one area until you're satisfied with the one that came before it, or at least satisfied for the most part. It'll cut down on how many touch-ups you have to end up doing. Okay. It's pretty good. Except there's one sensor right here above the assault cannon arm I want to pick out. And then I'm going to, just for some color variants, do a little bronze on the assault. This is a storm bolter. Took me a minute to think of the right name. Just going to do a bit on the housing here. Make it a little more colorful. Oh, that is base coats. So once that's dried up, I can start shading. Hello? Huh. Okay. 09196H Pewter, that was odd. I guess it was a delay between the time I started the record and it actually started. Whatever. So, starting on shading. About half water, half paint, give or take. Trying to make sure I don't miss anything. And stained ivory 09142. almost got in the wrong paint there for a second. Make certain I'm actually in camera for this. Kind of defeats the purpose of painting a model if I'm not. And yeah, that white is kind of interfering with my camera, but I don't have a choice. It's either have the light on or not see what I'm doing. I think I can get away with doing the wax on the purity seals too right this minute. So that's going to be red brick 09001. Just a tiny, that is not mixed properly. Let's try that again. Dot it right on the wax right there. There. And here. I don't know why I keep whispering. It's odd and sounds kind of creepy, I think. Okay. Okay, that's going to leave the blue, the gray, and the gold, and the other gray. Okay. So far, so good. Okay. 09049 ancient bronze. Look at the gold. Oh, and I just realized I missed a bit on the bronze earlier. Great. It'll just take a second to fix. It annoys me when I do that. Now the ancient bronze. Gets a little tricky in here, but oh well done. Let's see if I can. Maybe I can do this without the light so you can see a little better. Well, it's not gonna matter one way or another. I just need a better camera. So going along the edge carefully. This shade, which is properly prepared, will just get sucked up in little details at the ends of the parchment, not having to worry about it too much at all. got the gold. That's just going to leave the white, the gray, and the blue. And I'm going to have to do the gray last. So, alright. It's going to have to dry before moving on. Okay. Alright. 09061 linen white. That's probably more than I actually need. This is only going on the helmet. Okay. Trying to make certain I'm still in frame. Still need to. Well, I've already said it on the camera, so we'll get upgraded as soon as I can afford to, so. Okay. I'm going to take the paintless brush and just try to soak up that little. There we go. That's another way of getting rid of errant paint. And now, where is it? Ultramarine Shadow 09187. I had to switch to Army Painter on this particular Ultramarine Blue because I, for the life of me, could not find any more. It's frustrating, but it happens. Okay. So I'm just going to leave the blue and the two grays. Again, be generous with the water. About half and half. Where do I want to start? Just okay. Just carefully go on here. Just the most difficult area around the base of the smoke launcher here. I don't know if you heard that chime, but it's just another one of the OS's auto update things, nothing to be concerned about. Gotta be careful about bumping my camera. I don't want it taking another tumble. Being really careful on the gold here. I don't want to nick that. I'm not sure what that shouting is or if you can hear it. It looks like I've got some noisy neighbors. It happens when you're in a condo or an apartment type living. You don't have a whole lot of space between you and your neighbors. If you're in a house, the loud guy next door, well, has to work significantly harder to annoy you. In a condo, well, less so. And it's been quiet here for several years, but not a whole lot I can do about it as long as they keep it down in the middle of the night. That's good enough for me. Being careful around these symbols. was nerve-wracking. I'm trying to start with the areas I'm less likely to accidentally bump and finish up with the ones I am more likely to accidentally bump. Being really careful right here because I don't want to get that reliquary on the leg. Okay. This takes a lot of practice to get this much control. So don't be discouraged if you don't get it perfect on the first try. In my case, I've been doing this for years and I still have to do touch-ups in many cases, as I've pointed out. Yeah, this banner is an optional part that I chose to put there. These kits have a lot of decorative elements. Give each model personality if you feel like it. And generally I do. That's one of the main reasons I try to give each of my squads different gear, is to facilitate each squad and, if possible, each model having its own personality, especially among the Space Marines. Okay, that just leaves the 2 grays, and then start highlighting and detailing. Okay, go ahead and get the eyes next with 09101 Ruby Red. Well, actually, I need to hold off on that for a bit, now that I think about it, because I need to get another shade first, because that's going to go on, because I need to get several pieces of equipment first. 09037 Pure Black. Oh boy. I am just a bit scatterbrained tonight. So again, with the Pure Black, you want to use more than the usual amount of water to dilute it properly. Like 4 or 5 times almost. Be real careful around that launcher. Because I don't want to get the blue at the base of it. Okay. I'll start. Or rather, where to go next. Okay. Go ahead and do the undercarriage here. If you hear that noise, don't worry about it. It's just my neighbors listening to music. Something I don't do often enough anymore. I actually used to listen to music when painting, but haven't since I started these videos because I don't want to get hit by a copyright strike from anybody. That might change though once I figure out how to use this music mixing program that came with my video software, but that's been such a low priority I almost forget I have it at times. Okay. Yep, sure looks like I did dilute this properly, so in good shape there. It's just going to take some time to Get this where I need it. Okay. The reason I delayed on doing the eyes are I'm going to have multiple uses for that color on some of these other sensors. Only a layer of white, and some of them right now have this black shading on them. Just keeping my brush nice and wet. It's just a bit tricky because of the undercuts here. Get him. Okay. Got the assault cannon, so I'm just going to leave the rest of the legs. I was going to have to wait before doing the base anyway, but I can do that at the same time I do the lighting effects and sensors. While the paint itself is diluted thoroughly, I'm also keeping my brush very wet, which will help with this. Right now I'm trying to focus on finishing one leg at a time right this second. Right. Alright. Okay, just need to let that dry before moving on. Alright, to start the lighting effects, 09039 pure white. And I don't need too much of this. Black's still not quite dry, but it's close enough. I can start on this. Dot there. And there, the eyes are okay since I've already got white in them. And then sensor there, there, then the spotlight. See here. That looks all right. I'm going to take pure black again, just a bit. Just get some gun barrels. And get the interior of the launchers and smokestacks and make certain that, so that way I've got, that's what I'm looking for. I need to do this before I highlight. Alright, that's got it. So now, just have to let, well, Let's go ahead and try to do the next layer of shading. So 09088 Stormy Gray. Try doing the base, and maybe by the time I'm done with that I can shade, or sorry, not shade, but hit the lighting effects in the eyes. In fact, I can, well, let's just do this. I'm getting a little scrambled. Just going through a rough time at work and other stuff. Here I'm careful to go around the skull and shell casings. And that this will cover the entirety of the stone on the base or rockcrete. Which is a common and inexpensive building material in the world of Warhammer 40,000. Excuse me. I think I can go ahead and do the lighting effects. So Ruby Red 09101. And this will get the eyes on the actual Marine inside there as well. That should be plenty. That tiny little dot. Carefully dab that in his eyes. That's got it just about. Just tap off the excess with the paper towel there. That sensor. Those sensors all along there. Okay. Put that around a little better on that one. That's okay. And then lemon yellow 09009, a tiny dot of that for the spotlight. That's more than enough. Alright. Now once that's all dry, I can start highlighting and then detail it. Alright, time to highlight and detail. 09063 Ghost White. This is only going on the helmet. So you pick out a brush for this. Then, let's see here. Take a little bit of true silver, 09207. One more go. Get the grill on the spotlight here. I'm cleaning and drying my brush between layers here. New gold 09051. Eep. Then 09089 cloudy gray. Again, I'm mostly concerning myself with the more readily visible surfaces than getting every single surface here. Okay. Next up, it's going to be Ultramarine Highlilght 09189. I have a camera on that. Oh boy. Just about done with the blue. Just want to lightly dust. The bristles just barely hitting the model. And this will get the raised areas. One last bit, and that's on the right arm where the assault cannon is. All right. Got myself a little knot in my hand there. Shake that out while I clean up my brush. And next, how about Blood Red 09003? Yeah, we'll get the wax. Much as I question, the survivability of these purity seals, it turns out they really are wax and parchment, and probably get replaced before every battle. Okay. Let's see. Then before, what is it? (09198) Tarnished Brass. Hit that before doing the. No, shoot! I just want this out of order. All right, it's fine. It's okay. But what's not fine is that I wasn't in camera for that. The exhaust pipes here. Misty Gray 09090. I'm also going to switch to a larger brush for this. Will this work? Maybe. Then where's my brush? Take that tarnished brass again and just really quick redo these spent shell casings that I nicked. I had meant to do the gray first and then managed to immediately forget what I was going to do. It's frustrating, but it happens. And 09144 Creamy Ivory to finish up the highlighting. Gets all the parchment now for that one skull on the base there, like that. And now pure black 09037 to finish. Going to do two things with this. And the first is writings. And my brush goes flying. Writings on the parchment. So just thin on these purity seals. Thin squiggly lines to represent, which are more representative of complex writing than actually showing it, but I'm just going to write something on here, which is not easy with a brush, let me tell you. Just writing random names here. We're trying to. Okay, there is one thing left to do. Let's take pure white 09039. And I need to do this before I finish the base. And let's give him an insignia. And plenty of space right here. This could go anywhere you feel like. Okay. And it looks like I need to touch up that plate over the crotch real quick. Just take care of that. And taking a wider, flatter brush, going back to the pure black and just going around the rim of the base to finish up. At this point, I think Warhammer 40,000 is the only game that doesn't have reference cards. But then again, it's also more complicated in terms of customization options than any other game out there that I'm aware of. Just for a tabletop miniatures game. So that's why I don't bother numbering the bases on these models like I do for games that actually have reference cards for tracking damage. Okay. And that is it. A Venerable Dreadnought from Warhammer 40,000. Until next time, I am Ian Stuckey with Mastermind Games, signing out.